Highly questionable. There's just been a lot going on. You know, Double or Nothing is coming up on Sunday, and I mean, on paper, obviously the matches are going to be out of this world. I mean, they're typically like extremely good, but the problem is that none like there's nothing really interesting going on. Like there's not really anything that like is piquing the interest, at least of me. In fact, I thought Dynamite last night was quite boring, to be honest with you. Um,
I did too.
yeah, I but that doesn't change the fact that AEW still has the best, you know, whatever you want to call them, pay per views. It's still pay per views for them or premium live events for everybody else. But um, they still have consumer confidence in the pay per view. So I think the pay per view might still do like pretty decent, but it's probably going to be a lot lower than what it normally is.
Yeah, yeah, and say what you want about like AEW when things aren't going necessarily as good as you want on TV. Um, the Everybody knows like the best value in AEW is the pay-per-views. Whatever money you're spending, you're gonna get it. It's you're gonna get your money's worth out of it, and that's something like Terry Funk would always say is, you got to give people the money's worth, and you're going to get that from the pay-per-view. Now, the issues there aren't necessarily as strong as you would like, but the in-ring action is going to be good. So if you're looking for something like that, it's going to hit you. But not everybody does. Not everybody's looking for just in-ring, and that's some of the issues where you want to make sure stories kind of hit, and you're hitting in the different. The importance of the different things are all aligned, and dynamics are right, and we see weird dynamics, things like Tony and Serena Deeb. That dynamic doesn't quite work. I don't know how you guys feel about that one.
I
Yeah,
don't
well,
care.
I think I'm on Team Brian Alvarez on that one. I think that Tony Storm is should have been a babyface a while ago. Nobody
Yeah.
wants to boo her. In fact, she should have been the babyface during the Deonna Purrazzo feud. Sorry, you tell I'm pretty hungry. Deonna Purrazzo feud, because when she was in TNA, she was a heel most of the time because that's what she's most effective as. And they
Mhm.
brought her over and they made her a babyface, thinking that she would get this big reaction. And she, got an okay reaction in New Jersey as a babyface, but she's not a babyface. She's never been a good babyface. But they didn't want to pull the trigger. They wanted Tony Storm to be a heel. And then they kept flip flopping her with this Serena Deeb feud. But nobody really, honestly, like Serena Deeb, I'm sure is a fine person and she is a very good worker, but there's not a whole lot that's interesting about her. And then they're putting her in this world title match with Tony Storm. And look, say what you want about Tony. I haven't really been a fan of the act the entire time. There's occasionally like she'll make me laugh and it'll piss me off because I'm like supposed to be
Mhm.
anti Tony Storm, but then she'll like crack me up. I'm like, damn it, she got me. But she should have been a baby face the whole time, and it just doesn't make any sense. So now they finally have made her a baby face, and they made Serena a heel, despite the fact that she went out there and poured her heart out in front of the audience and said she almost died at one point, and like nobody just cared. So because they're just going to cheer Tony Storm no matter what. So I think they're finally heading on the right track, but I don't really think anybody cares about the match. I think we already know the outcome. There ain't no way in hell Serena Deeb's winning that title because she just wouldn't be an interesting champion.
Yeah, and that kind of hurts things. You want to have at least some doubt in some of the outcomes, and that's one of those matches where you kind of know it's where it's going. Almost like Mercedes and Willow, but they've done a really good job building that one. But I mean, how does Mercedes lose in her first match, right?
Yeah.
Not gonna happen.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and I don't think that Mercedes should have been challenging for the TBS title in her first match. She should be going for the world title. It just
That,
seems weird to me. And I know that the storyline with Willow is there because she accidentally got hurt during the match. But it's not like they shot an angle for it. They brought her back and then had to educate the audience that she fell off the top rope and hurt her ankle. And so now she wants to get revenge for falling off the top rope. But she should have came in with world title aspirations because that's really when people get behind you and they find you to be interesting. But I think the number one heel in on the women's side for AEW is Mercedes Mone, and by far the number one babyface on the women's side is Tony Storm. That's where they should be going.
yeah, eventually you want to go there, and you mentioned that expectation kind of thing, right? Fans have expectations as well, and if people work under them, it kind of lowers the bar and can actually hurt the talent a little bit. And we see that with Mercedes possibly. We'll have to wait and see how this plays out. But everybody sees where she's coming in. She's supposed to be one of the top stars, so she should be shooting in that trajectory, right? But she's not. So does that impact things? And we see that a little bit, I think, with Osprey going into the Danielson match. it looks like we're shooting for the moon with Ospreay. And then shortly after the Danielson match, like the Wednesday after, right? Oh, he's going for the international title now.
God, so annoying.
Yeah.
Well,
So it's like, okay.
Here's the thing that I think is interesting is that Tony Khan, we praised him for knowing who the first 4 champions were going to be, right? And they booked that out. Like they knew it was going to be Jericho, Moxley, Omega, and then Hangman, right? So the booking for the top made sense. And I think that since then it's been a little scattershot. But now I truly think he thinks he has these plans, but he's almost like inflexible with them at this point. Like Toni Storm, clearly the audience likes her, despite what guys like us might think. So like they've dragged their feet on just making her a babyface, right? They just shouldn't Mercedes' big debut be against Toni Storm for the top title? Like it doesn't make none of it makes sense.